Let's go through some of the most common products to see how digital has actually improved things. And when you think about that, when you say the word digital, there's just this UPI thing because it's been such a big success. I think we are in the sixth or seventh year of that. It started in 2016, if I remember, if I remember correctly. What's your take on how things stand today as far as the whole digital experience in banking is concerned, and what do you think lies ahead?
So, as I look around both in India and see what we have achieved vis a vis the rest of the world, I think we have been in a very, very fortunate place, especially with the kind of development we have seen in the last 5, 6 years. While I think UPI stands out because it's now the largest digital payment ecosystem anywhere in the world, but I think we must realize that it all started with Aadhaar. That was, I think, the first of our building blocks, the identity stack. We could do away with a lot of physical documents, wet signature, verification at source. Payment stack with UPI, of course, and then the Aadhaar enabled payment system for last mile payment and subsidy. Bharat bill payment system, which aggregated a lot of billing that we do. And then again, I think a lot of other stack like a fast tag, which has transformed. Again, it's a bit of a payment for vehicles. Vehicles have their own identity. Or we are seeing now the data stack through account aggregator and open credit network. The GSTN piece, which again has allowed data to be leveraged for access to credit. So I would say everything that we are seeing as a part of our India stack today, it all has some linkage to financial service or bank. And banks like us are taking advantage of saying that if I can find access to data that is available digitally or identity or payment, how can we build a lot more on top of it? So when UPI started, it started more as a person to person. It became merchant. Now you can go and even apply for a IPO or a ASBA through UPI or set up subscription. And now you can link even your credit cards, right? So I think that the whole experience and cross-border remittance and light and offline payment and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So I think what it has done is it has just built the core infrastructure for businesses and financial institutions to innovate on top of it. And I think that's why I keep saying this is such an exciting place to be in because we can imagine and we can build a lot on top of this core infrastructure layer.
What's going to change with account aggregator that you think, with stuff that's going to be even better for the consumer than where we are today?
Oh, I think it's going to be transformational for the very simple reason that I keep saying this. India is one of the few countries which became data rich before citizens became financially rich. World over, I think the Western world always was financially rich and now they were getting data. One of the key challenges that we face in India is that a lot of people still don't have access to credit. Because of the traditional credit underwriting model, the risk and bureau scores, some of those became the starting point for you to get access to credit. But how do you get into the credit fold? And I think account aggregator helps every consumer to demonstrate the data of transaction, of their behavior, what they are doing. And that becomes one of the levers on which financial institutions can start underwriting. It also gives customer greater control of their own financial data, largely starting with financial, but hopefully the health data, a lot of your other data like taxation data. You can literally move your data where you want and find what is the best deal or offer or service you can get. And then this becomes the building block of the data privacy architecture, where you're saying that consumer is the owner of the data and every institution is the custodian of the data with fiduciary responsibility.
Branches. We don't need that. I mean, I don't know when was the last time you went to a branch. I keep on going there probably once in 3 months. Even I don't know how often I go there. But I still see crowds there. Okay,
Yes.
At least a part of Bombay where I stay, and there's still a lot of people that still use the branch. The branch is still relevant. What's going to happen there? I mean, do you think that we can reduce the crowds even further, or branches will always stay, or what do you think?
I think that's a great question, and this question keeps getting asked year on year. But today, for example, at Kotak, 98% of all our retail transactions are done digitally, but 2% is outside. Okay, but if absolute numbers, if you look at it, transactions are still growing, and that's the reason, like you answered, is there a question of are branches relevant? Branches are still relevant. Because what has happened is we have not added that many branches compared to our growth in customer base. So if I was serving probably 3 or 4,000 customer per branch, today my operating ratio between a branch to customer is about 15 to 20,000.
Wow.
So that means I can grow disproportionately my ability to serve customer without necessarily adding those many branches. But especially for current account customers, business customers, customers where still cash is in circulation and cash is needed, I think for them branches are still very, very important part of their banking infrastructure. Also customers who continue to choose a locker, or probably customers who are senior citizens, those who are not very, very comfortable to do a lot of things digitally, they choose to come and visit a branch. So the branch density may not grow, but I think branches will continue to stay and find its own relevance. But we'll end up acquiring and serving more and more customers digitally. That's also the reality.
I'm just thrilled that, for stuff like changing of ATM pin, you don't have to go to the ATM anymore. I believe that can be done by OTP now.
Yes.
And what
But
if-
why do you need to even go to a ATM? I would.
पुराने ज़माने में यार वो क्या we
Yeah,
needed that, right? I mean,
absolutely.
you would